Hey, fragrance lovers and enthusiasts, how y'all doing? How's the fragrance life? How's the fragrance world going for you? Hope that y'all are doing fantastic. I don't know how long I'll be on here today. Might be a little bit of a shorter one. We'll have to see. Um, this week has been pretty good. This hasn't been bad. And if y'all don't know, if you're just coming across my channel for the first time, or maybe you're just watching this replay, I'm sure y'all know, but I am on here 6 p.m. Central Time, U.S. time, both Fridays and Saturdays. Well, every once in a while I'll miss a Friday, but most of the time I usually make it. It's just this is a time for y'all to share what fragrances y'all been liking, enjoying, wearing, which you've been your scent of the day, your scent of the week. Also share if you've been buying anything, if you learn about any news or anything. This is just opportunity for us to have a little bit of a chat. Hey there, Rich Mitch. Happy to see you. How you doing? How's your week been going? Um, I'm trying to think of any news that happened on the top of my head. I can never say his name right. His channel name. It's like Huele Mucho. He's a fellow fragrance reviewer. I don't want to. I think he's Spanish. He speaks Spanish, but he speaks his English reviews as well. He does a great job. He showcased or talked about a fragrance recently, a fragrance house that I guess is going out of business. I've never smelled their fragrances. They look like they're niche, like entry level, or niche that's kind of in the middle ground, not super expensive, and that kind of thing. So I don't know if I'll ever try those. I did decide to go and look at the notes and the fragrances from the house, and I don't know if they work for me. I don't know if I want to blind buy into them. I have so many things that I want to buy, that I need to buy, that at this point, I am still sampling a lot of things. I'm going to do a ton of reviews. Huele mucho. Is that how you say it? Huele me? Yeah, he's awesome. Iox. Yeah, you exactly. You, Rich Mitch, you're always on top of it. You know what's going on in the fragrance world for sure. So that's a little bit of fragrance news. I honestly had never bought from that brand, and I didn't know much about it. But for me personally, I have so many samples, and some of y'all are so generous. Every once in a while, I have a bunch of samples and decants that come in, and then I have, tons of things to review. So, I and I still do blind buy, and I'm still tempted to do a lot of it. But whenever I save up the money, I mean, there's lots of things that are on my buy list that I'm just gonna try to put my money towards things that I know that I'll actually really really like. Like I usually do pretty good on my blind buys or blind purchases, but I recently bought what is that fragrance called? Amons, I think that's how you say it, from the Vicanto. And I know it was risky. Very few people talked about it in general, and the few people who talked about it kind of gave it lukewarm reception. I do know that there are some fragrances from Vicanto that are highly spoken about. If you don't know about the House of Vicanto at all, they're like a side company or an extension, kind of, I guess, a more, I don't know, creative, story-driven adaptation made by Tenzion Terenzi. It's made by them. It's under their umbrella, I guess you could say, of sorts. And I like their bottles. I would like to find one that I enjoy, but I blind bought this one hoping for more of a citrus aquatic fragrance. I have a hard time with liking those, and this one had a little bit of citronella, and I didn't, even though it had a little bit of fresh green cardamom to it, which I do like, I wasn't in love with it. Maybe I just need to buy Safiro by Florist. I like that fragrance, but I haven't sat down and actually bought that fragrance. It's very unisex though. I would like to find something maybe that's a little bit more salty, or maybe just something really creative in the worlds of maybe a citrus or maybe an aquatic or maybe a blend of the two. I'm still looking for. I'm just so picky with those, and some of the ones I do like, I don't want to pay that much money to smell like a citrus. To me, I mean, I know some of these are high end luxury fragrances, and I'm sure some of the fragrances are expensive, especially when they put jasmine in them. But anyways, I'm okay, mate. How are you? I've been doing good. Hey yo, hey Jean Baptiste, happy to see you. How's the fragrance life been going for you? Have you got into any new fragrances? Um, for me, I don't know. I don't know about too much fragrance news. I heard where somebody was creating some drama and stir in the fragrance community. They were talking and suggesting that, well, I think they changed the bottle size of the Dior Homme Parfum, and they were saying that once they changed to the new bottle size, he was claiming reformulations. and I haven't seen anybody else suggest that or talk about that or validate that. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's not. They have supposedly there is a little bit of a difference with the Dior Homme Intense. It's still Dior Homme Intense is still a great mass appealing, wearable, fragrance that has some creativity to it. It's a great date night fragrance. And it's unisex, so it really reaches across the field. Just about everybody likes that smell, and I think awful lot of people would really like it. And I think the word intense scares people off, and if it was maybe presented a little bit differently and had a little bit more of a luxurious name, perhaps Dior Homme Intense could become like a super big top seller. I mean, there's no reason why it shouldn't be, date night wise and popularity wise up there with like L'Enduit de l'Homme. It's good. I saw somebody calling it a masterpiece. I don't know if I want to call it a masterpiece in its composition, but how it comes across and how mass appealing it is, it's a solid fragrance. Y'all probably know about it. Y'all are deep into fragrances. Hey there, Dean. Happy to see you. What's up? I did get my scheduled pickup on the way, and the post office has your fragrances. So I did want to give back to you. I hope that they arrive safely. I packaged them very, very well. So I have a couple of gifts back for you for your generosity and all. Um, I think that you'll enjoy them. I hope that you do. Again, sorry for my delay. Dean sent me he was very generous, and he loves fragrances as well. He didn't, he said if there's anything you want to send me back, and he's in Canada. I finally figured out a way to get cheaper shipping. Um, I don't know if y'all know, but there's a perfumer, and I shipped something for him because he couldn't buy it directly from Canada. He's a perfumer with some fragrance ingredients. I don't know if I'll say his name. It's perfectly legal, but maybe the people in Canada would kind of, or maybe the law or the authorities would really look down on that. But I helped him out, and I helped him get some musk, some civet, that I had to ship it to me, and then I had to ship it to him as a gift because Canada likes it more for some reason. If you're actual business, they scrutinize you a lot more. But if I bought it for him and kind of in my name, sent it as a gift. Anyways, shipping's expensive to Canada, and I figured if y'all don't know about Pirate Bay, it's really simple to use. I had a pleasant experience with Pirate Bay, and I think I'm going to use them a lot more often. Of course, when I sell stuff on eBay, I'm going to use their integrated service so I don't have to plug in a tracking number. But guys, if y'all are shipping fragrances to each other, selling things again with PayPal, I suggest you not use friends and family. I've talked about this in length, but I mean, it does cost a tiny bit more money, and the seller can integrate that into their price if they want to or not. But anyways, never risk that. But when you do get something, or if you are the seller, I suggest you check out Pirate Bay. They have really good prices from what I can tell. It's a very easy to use platform. There's a click and ship way you can just go through USPS, but when I used it in the past, at least, they required me to use priority mail shipping for everything. And the priority mail, especially international priority mail, like flat rate, I charge you an extreme amount of money, almost double what you would normally pay, because you're not limited by the weight. I think I think there is a limit, but it's a lot of weight. About the only way I think you could break the limit is if you were trying to ship gold, which I don't even know if that's legal to ship 1,000 pounds of gold bullion in a flat rate shipping package. Anyways, so I was happy to figure that out, and I don't know. Sometimes synchronicities happen, so I came across pirate ship. I believe that's what it's called. Anyways, search pirate shipping. You should be able to find it. What's up, Ben? Hey there, Dean again. And Randy sent of the day Fico di Amalfi. Great fragrance. If y'all don't know about that one, I think as far as I know, that's probably the most talked about Acqua di Parma from the Mediterranean line, and maybe the most talked about of all the Acqua di Parmas. I'm not sure if that's true, but that's mostly from what I've seen. It's a grassy, very sweet fig fragrance. It's very well done. Feels very Mediterranean. The problem with a lot of people that criticize that fragrance is that it doesn't have great longevity. It'll probably give you around 5 hours, maybe 6 hours or so. It's not strongest on the projection, and the sillage isn't very strong either, but it's a very charming fragrance. It's very likable. And if you are going for Aqua de Parma, I would definitely maybe try the original Colonia. See if you like that kind of style. And if you do, maybe dive into the rest of the house on that Colonia side with all the flankers, because the Colonia is pretty well done. It's a little bit simple, but it's pretty likable. It's pretty versatile. You can't go wrong with it. I think, unless you're a younger man, I don't. I think that maybe if you were a high school student, I don't know if you'd be into it, but if you're past 20, I think that almost anybody could really like Aqua de Parma, the regular Colonia. If you're going for like the clubhouse, that's a little bit more gentlemanly. But love that Fico di Amalfi. I've been tempted to buy it a number of times, but I got my 10 a.m. flirt from Kieran NYC, and I'm also always looking on the horizon for a different fig. I find that one it's great. It's unisex. Anybody can wear it. But for me personally, I don't know. I don't know if I can wear Fico di Amalfi. I've tried to a couple times, but I don't know. I want something with a punch to it. I don't know why. I like intensity to my fragrances. A little bit more. I don't know. It's a good one though. It's really good, guys, ladies and gents. Just trying more indie houses and clone houses, showing the smaller houses some love. That's fantastic. I hope that y'all enjoy my content. I am in the future going to review more designer fragrances. Y'all have seen my hauls. I have some more hauls to show, small hauls to show y'all. But I do have a lot of videos, especially I did in the past. I did a lot of videos, an awful lot. I actually had over 100 videos and saved in private at one point. And it was kind of in a stage where I was exploring a lot more of indie and some odd niche, some like things like House of Matriarch. I'm sure y'all have seen a few of those. But I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to have a bit better balance. Sorry about the dogs over here going crazy again. Those funny things. But so I'm going to bring it back to normal for you guys a little bit, have a balance. There's some people who come to my channel, liked my affordable fragrance top 10 list, and they want to see things that they might be more interested in buying. But I still have curiosity for the indie stuff from time to time. I still have to try Solstice scents. I have not tried Solstice scents, but I'm really interested. They have an awful lot of great-looking tobacco fragrances and gourmand-leaning scents, and they look really, really good. I do want to buy a few Alchemias. If y'all don't know, Posi and is a great house, and Possettes is pretty solid. Sucre Labelle, I personally don't feel like the quality is amazing, but they do have some creativity, a lot of creativity, and some funny names and some stories, and they throw out a lot of stuff at the wall, and they see what sticks. So if you, I mean, there is some fun. A lot of people like some people would call it gimmicky gimmicks, but some people do like Sucre Labelle, so you might connect to the brand. I'm not crazy about the brand. I'd rather like something like Solstice. I think I'm really gonna like that house an awful lot. See here today, just more indie and clones. Thoughts on the new Tom Ford Black Orchid Parfum. I haven't tried it. I am looking forward to trying it. Again, I've kind of gotten to the point where I have so many fragrances to review. You know, there are so many releases coming out, even though I don't live near a big boutique and the world's kind of in chaos right now. I could still review things from my local mall. I could ask for decants. I have awful lot of decants already. I do like to be on the trends. I do like to keep up with the Joneses, as they say, and be up to date. But sorry, but I don't want to pay $10. You know, for a sample, and you know, I'd like the original. I thought the original was a fine fragrance, and I can see why some guys can't pull it off and like it, but it's not a fragrance that I would personally go for. I'm sure that the parfum is great. I might actually like it more if it's more resinous, if it's more rich, if it's more sweet. I actually might really, really like that fragrance, but I don't want to pay upwards of $10 for a sample. Maybe I can get there one day, money-wise, where that is not a concern. Willy-nilly, $10 for a decant that I might not actually even like, and I don't really even, I might not care about the decant at all. But for me, I still look for sales and values, and I'm not to that point right now. But and if I buy a niche fragrance, I have to truly care about that fragrance, and I do have a few. I recently got to try Blackmail, guys, by Kerosene. Guys, I never want to sound like I'm putting down on the rest of the fragrance community, but again, I had heard about kerosene for whispers of it, but I didn't know much about it. I couldn't find their website for some reason for a while, and then I recently came upon them, and a fellow fragrance lover on Instagram was very generous enough to send me a few decants, and Blackmail is gorgeous, guys. And I really, really got to try that. I mean, I really got to buy that fragrance. And the prices at Kerosene um, are not bad for what you're getting. Again, I haven't tried all of them, but you get 100 mils for about $140, which is kind of, I guess, average or entry level niche prices. And he was a fellow fragrance reviewer. I think he shut down his channel again. I'm sure that y'all know that. But so I never saw his original content. I have no loyalty to him. He hasn't reached out to me or anything. He probably doesn't know who I am. But guys, that's another niche house to put on your radar. I've heard a lot. I think it was Redolescence, and I saw a few people talk pretty highly about Copper Skies, but I haven't tried that one yet. So, but I do look forward to trying that Black Orchid Parfum. It could be charming. I do have Dark Rebel Rider for my kind of dark, seductive needs. I'm gonna get Black Hashish. I'm gonna get Blackmail by Kerosene, and the Black Hashish. Sorry, the little gnat's trying to get my eye, but the Black Hashish is by Art Olfacto, and I don't know if y'all have heard of that brand, niche brand either, but it's a really good, more smoky and less cannabis. I guess I could compare it to Black Afghano, and it's really really well done. It has a dry, almost like a leathery nature, and I think if I remember right, in the dry down there's some ambergris, which really adds this interesting dynamic to kind of like a dark smoky fragrance. So, anyways, Dean says thanks, Ben. You're very kind of you. You were generous to me. I really do appreciate it. I hope that you like what I sent you. They're oddities. Well, one's something that's more informative. I won't spoil it for you, but I hope that it all arrives in one piece. I know that shipping to Canada, fragrance-wise, is real iffy. If you do ship internationally, guys, do be very careful because some nations and countries really don't. They'll allow you to ship fragrances, but you have to tell them what it is, and you have to be very forward. I wouldn't try to hide it, but I hope that it arrives to you in one piece. I did, disclaim. You have to tell, essentially, I guess security. I can't think of the right word right now. The border patrol, what's in your package, because who knows what people are sending in those packages. So, anyways, I hope that you enjoy it. I think one will add some versatility to your collection. And again, if you want to share it online, it'd be fun if other people got involved and saw what I sent you. So, Pirate Bay is a torrent site. No, this is I think Pirate Ship, not Pirate Bay. If you look, I don't know if they're a newer shipping company. They have like a little advertisement with a pirate on it, and it's just cheap shipping rates. It's a shipping provider. It's not a torrent site. No. That's why prices are so good. Schism. Let me catch up. I'm trying to connect. No, it's not a torrent site. It's a shipping label shipping. It's super convenient and easy, and I think that it's going to be a really big thing. Because in the past, I found a few shipping websites and they wanted you to buy into like a loyalty program and buy specialty labels through them and sometimes have them laminated and shipped to you and all kinds of funny stuff. And you paid like they wanted you to always keep a balance or something. It's like, I'm not going to keep a balance. And then to me, it was sketchy. Schism, that's I see ship. Yes, pirate. I think it's Pirate Ship or something like that. It's quite a nice company. I really like it. Ultra Supra says, hello, Ben, my bud. It's great to see you. Guess what? I just got your two favorite parfums de Marley's, Hobdon and Late Exclusive. If I already knew how they smelled because I've sampled them before, though. I'm happy that you got them. Those are certainly my two favorites from the house. I can respect why some people like Godolphin. I meant Galloway. I think that Galloway is kind of underrepresented. I've seen some people suggest that's way too spicy. I do notice the spice, and it does have a spicy feel. Maybe I just really like spices and fragrances, but I've seen some people say that Galloway is too spicy to wear, and I'm over here like it's not too spicy at all. But we all have different preferences, so I don't know. I'd be interested to see what he thinks about things like Spice Bomb or Bulgari Man Extreme. But anyways, maybe he just doesn't like how it comes across. It does have that almost bitter, almost piercing nature that the oil of like fresh crushed black pepper can have. So, but anyways, those two are amazing. I don't know if y'all saw my review of Hobdon recently. I've tried to get the word out. Again, sometimes I feel like I hurt myself a little bit because I should buy it before I put out such a positive review. I know I'm not that influential to sell things out too much, and that's not my intention, but you can find Hobdon if you look at the right places, especially before all this craziness going on in the world right now. You could find it for about 140, maybe 150 US dollars, like a lot of the other Parfums de Marly's. But I do think that it's from their like more exclusive Oriental, almost like oud collection. I think it might be from that collection. It's in a black bottle like the rest. And when those, I don't know if it was the same as the others when it was first released, but I know that when Shagya was released, and Hamdani, which is a different fragrance. Guys, please don't get it mixed up with Hamdani. Hamdani is more of a very animalic fragrance. I don't remember all the details. I tried it once, and it's a very different fragrance from Hobdon. So don't get those two mixed up. But Late exclusive, great date night fragrance. I like the coffee. I like the little bit of animalic seductiveness added to that fragrance. I think it's charming. I would. Those are the outstanding fragrances. Uh, I don't know what else to say. Some of the best niche on the market right now. They have great performance, great longevity. I don't want to hype up Parfums de Marly. Y'all know that I don't. I don't like it that they send out too much free stuff, and I don't know all the details behind the scenes. But again, they're working with a certain YouTuber, and I don't know if they're very upfront and honest about. And I don't know the details. I could be just speculation in my mind, but I don't know. If you can get them on sale, enjoy, enjoy. But it's good to have full bottles for them. Yeah, exactly. If again, I'm deep into fragrances, and y'all are too. If you have lots and lots of fragrances, you might not need full size bottles. They are nice to look at. It all depends on how practical you want to be, or what. If you want to have lots of variety, I do like to have the bottles. I know that I've talked about decants being a smart thing, but if I really do enjoy fragrance and love a fragrance, I'm guilty as charged. I like the presentation. I like picking up a nice bottle, a fancy bottle, if I really like it. And again, I'm going to always try to keep my collection to about 80 or so fragrances, or less. Who knows if I'll be able to keep myself to that or not. But yeah, I do like to have the bottles. I do too. I relate to you, Ultra Supra. Ben, I know that you enjoy Dunhill Century. I saw it rated 3.8 on Fragrantica. You think it's underrated? I do. When it first came out, I've talked about this a little bit again. I don't want to hash it out too much, but when it first came out, it was released at about $115. $115 is a lot of money, especially for a designer fragrance, especially for Dunhill. When I think of Dunhill, kind of got the representation. I meant the not representation. Kind of got a reputation, if I can speak English right today, for more affordable fragrances, especially once they get they were getting fairly highly discounted, and people were getting them fairly cheap. So, and maybe the quality could have been better blends, like on Icon, the regular Icon. It perhaps could have been blended better. So when they came out and made a little bit of a higher end, more of a luxury fragrance, I think that really shocked people, and you really have to prepare people for that, and you have to have the marketing for it. And I don't think it's a smart thing to do. I think a lot of people who maybe are big fragrance connoisseurs maybe are looking to get smaller bottles that are nice to look at, but they might not need the full 100 ml. And people who do like fragrances, you can maybe some of these brands maybe should sell 50 mils and sell them for $80 instead of what they're doing now, selling a big 100 mil bottle, and they're upping the prices. I don't know if y'all have seen that, but a lot of these companies are creeping up their prices. I suppose it's something to do with inflation. I don't know everything that's going on economically in the world right now, but a lot, if you haven't seen at the malls online, a lot of companies are fragrances you used to think that were $80 fragrances. Now some of them seem to be about 115 online. So, I mean, get them at the discounters while you can at an amazing price. But the why I like Dunhill Century and why I spoke so highly of it is because a few fragrance reviewers gave it lukewarm reception. The price was way too high, and it is a little bit of a simple fragrance. But then, because that all that happened, there's a lot more supply than demand. And for a while, I got mine for about $35 for the big bottle, the 4.2 ounce, if I remember the size right. Maybe it's a slightly bigger. So it retailed for $115, and I got it for like $30. And I think it's a very nice, clean, classy fragrance. It's not anything extremely exciting or unique, but as far as a very clean fragrance, it's better than Prada El Homme, way better. I think it's better than things like Santal 33, and for the value for the money, if you can get it for $35, I mean, I like the presentation too. It's a fancy bottle. It's not a generic bottle. It's a high quality glass and has a special shape to it. So, um, anyways, that's kind of my thoughts. Y'all let me know what you think about my thoughts on that one. Dean says Parfum has a lot of rum. Well, that sounds exciting. Y'all know that I do love rum. I actually showed John Varvatos Vintage today on my Instagram. Rum's one of my favorite notes. It's really, really, really nice. I forget if it has rum, but there's a fragrance called Ganymede, and that one's really charming. And I've seen some fragrance reviewers speak highly of that one as well. And I think it has some rum to it. So that's one of my favorite notes. And I think it's a Turkish fragrance house. If y'all want to message me, and I can look this stuff up later, I have all these things saved in messages. But I think the fragrance is called Ruhr, Ruhr. I think it's from Turkey, and I've been wanting to buy that fragrance for a long time. But y'all know that I have to save up. So, Blackmail is in my top 5. I'm so glad you liked it. Yeah, Randy, thank you so much. And Blackmail is amazing, guys. If you like, I don't want to spoil the review for whenever I do end up getting my bottle, and that is on my buy list. Blackmail will be purchased. It's that doesn't happen every day for me. When you see a fragrance you like that much and you say, I'm buying that. That's good stuff. It's to me, it's kind of like Enchanted Forest, but I feel like that black currant, blackberry kind of vibe to it ends up being a little bit more dry and less sweet, has a little bit more of that dried nature to it, almost like a prune. And it ends up having this really tantalizing, dark, smoky elegance to it without being birch tar or aggressive with the smoke. But it's a very bad boy, very seductive, mysterious fragrance. It's also really, really good stuff. I definitely would check out Blackmail. And moving into the fall and the winter, guys, if you like, Dark Rebel by John Varvatos, but you want something that was, maybe a little bit more niche-like, something a little bit more special. Excellent stuff. Excellent juice. Kerosene. I hope that I can, get some more samples in the future. Whenever I buy mine, I think you get 2 complimentary samples. Got to get my nose on that, more of those. And there's one with coffee, and I definitely got to try that one too. What's your take on Nichonne's Hoctavat? And have you tried? Are you Hoctavat and the Alexandria's version? Oh, you're asking me if I've tried the Alexandria's version. I have not tried the Alexandria's version, but I have tried the original. And it's a solid fragrance. I do feel like it comes off perhaps a little bit more lemony, but it does have some pineapple to it. Don't get me wrong, it still has pineapple, but it has a little bit more lemon. It almost comes off feeling a little bit like a Tenzion Terenzi, which for some people that's going to be a bad thing. Some people that's going to be a great thing. I've always, Tenzion Terenzi is actually a candle company, and Guys, I promise y'all that maybe I put it in my subconscious. I don't know, but I swear that I actually didn't know that Tenzion Terenzi was a candle company at first. And when I smelled some of their fragrances, to me they came off as smelling like fragrance or scents that would go off in candles. Like they're long lasting, but they're a little bit soft, and they almost have this a quality that would maybe work really well with wax. And I feel that way about. I don't know if it's a certain molecule or node or a certain style of perfumery. I'm definitely always trying to learn. I'll definitely try to investigate that for y'all. But it's good. I do find that it has some smoke. Lots of people like Aventus to be super fruity these days. They like super fruity, super fresh, and light, like happy, kind of easygoing Aventus. But it's I wouldn't say it's overbearing with the smokiness, but it does have a little bit. So be aware of that if you are deciding to get into it. Maybe blind by it. It's a Hoctavot does have some smoke, but it's very wearable. It's very likable. Again, I some people might call me snobbish, but I've gotten to the point where I've smelled so many things that smell like Aventus, so many inspired fragrances, just like Baccarat Rouge 540. But again, there's so many brands out there, and not everybody has exposure to these fragrances. So even if 10 or 20, maybe even 20 companies, if they make a clone or their own interpretation of a scent, you know, one person might, not be able to make the connection or might just come across at once and just make that purchase. But we're kind of like fragrance addicts around here. We're super super deep into it, and for me, with smelling, dozens of Aventus clones and I've tried many of the Aventus batches. I'm just not that excited about that kind of smell. It's a fine smell. I do respect that juice, but it's just not something that I don't know. I go for too much. If you were looking at the Alexandria clone, I don't know. Nishane A doesn't go terribly on sale. It doesn't get highly discounted or anything like that. But if you go to Twisted Lily, sometimes you can get some of their scents. I think for like 20% off. I forget if they carry Nishane or not. But you should be able to find a little bit of a sale. I've gotten to the point where clones are fine, especially when you first get into fragrances and you're really trying to explore and get an idea of what you like and what you don't like. It can help you maybe step into, put your tippy toe into the water of getting into niche. But a lot of the time, I don't know. I would kind of suggest going for the original thing. And it's not, I know some people defend the original fragrance for the art. I actually feel like, if a clone house is able to give you better longevity, it smells close enough for a far cheaper price. I think that's a win for the consumer. There's everything in there. I won't talk too much about clones, but in our world, there's people who copycat each other all the time. Even with copyrights and other things, there's people who, take things that are popular. There's cliches. There's stereotypes. There's styles of things that just work, and that happens all the time. So I don't know. With most of the time, though, I would lean towards buying the original, and I think you have that pride of ownership. I don't I don't try to push this view on some people. Some people suggest that you might feel like guilty if you have the fake, or you might think that's the fake or care about that. Like some people suggest, like if you wear, fake Versace clothes, for example, and go out and you wear that, they suggest that it kind of, I don't know, takes away from your character or something. I don't feel that way. That it's a negative against you, but I think it can, if you do feel pride of personal ownership, it can be really nice to have the fancy bottle and the fancy fragrance and know that you're wearing something luxurious. But it all depends on how often you're going to wear that fragrance. If you want to save it for special occasions, or how of course, your spending habits, or how much money you have. And if you're just looking for a really mass appealing fragrance, and you just want to spend, $60 on a clone, why not buy the Mont Blanc? What's it called again? It's not Emblem, is it? No, it's not Emblem. It's not even coming to mind. But the Mont Blanc version of Aventus. I mean, why not? Why not try that one and just go for something like that? I don't know. See here, I used to love watching Kerosene's YouTube channel. Dude was very funny. If I know that there's a, what's it called, like it's not a time machine. There's like a way back. I get distracted by the dog, but there's a way back internet page, and supposedly you can go back and find old things. I would like to see some of his videos just for the heck of it, because I've heard a lot of people say really nice things like that. Like he's very funny, like a good guy. Yeah, I want Kerosene Follow. Is that the one with coffee? I think that might be the one with coffee as well. It's a gourmand. If it's anything like, the quality what he put out on Blackmail, Blackmail could be considered a little bit linear, but it smells interesting enough, and it's a charmer, so I'm not gonna blast it. I do feel like if you all are looking for something more affordable, if you really don't want to go into niche, I'm gonna, in the fall, in the winter, guys, I'm gonna be putting out a review of Pure Excess Night from the House of Paco Rabanne. Now I know some people are deep into niche; they like naturals, and they might put their nose up, or might be snobbish against Paco Rabanne fragrances in general. But again, I do think they have their place. They have great longevity, even though they're not natural, and they smell really good to the average person. So really, I would definitely check out, Pure Excess Night. If you like the Pure Excess DNA, if you've never gotten to Pure Excess before and you want a Coca-Cola vanilla fragrance that's very, very well done, it's boozy, it's super long lasting. I don't want to ruin my review, guys, but I don't hype up designer fragrances or too often, because again, a lot of them are too similar, or I don't feel like maybe the creativity is great. Sometimes they're a great value, and that's what I'd like to talk about. But Paco Rabanne's Pure Excess Night is a standout fragrance, guys. Great performance, great smell, gets great reactions. I would go easy on the trigger though, and I have that fragrance. I'll be speaking highly of that one. So, hey Ben, how's it going? Happy to see you, Abraham Johnson. Thanks for popping in. Ultra Supra says Hobdon didn't blow me away at first, but it really grew on me. I had to get it. I felt the same way. Actually, did you see my review? I felt the same way. I actually tried it. It was one of those fragrances. I said, I don't really understand this fragrance, and I set it to the side, and I waited. It was almost a long time. It was like over 6 months at least, and then I came back and I sampled that fragrance again, and I figured out that fragrance actually really, really worked for me. My nose had matured. My nose had actually developed and started to understand fragrances a lot better, and Hobdon is great. It's some people describe it as incensey. I would describe it as more of like resinous, and it does have amber. It does have almost like a signature sweetness about it, and I would almost describe it, make it more relatable. If you know Tom Ford's, Extreme, Tom Ford Noir Extreme, I would describe it as in a similar style, but perhaps more Arabian, perhaps more exotic, and perhaps again more resinous. But it's very well done, and almost nobody talks about it. But it is more daring to some people. It does lean a little bit on the dark side, but I guess people really like Layton and speak really highly of Layton. It's probably easier to wear. Layton didn't blow me away, and it didn't really grow on me either. But the Layton exclusive definitely is richer, and I really do enjoy that one. And again, I'm sorry in my videos, guys, with that dog. I wish I could do something about it, but what can I do right now? So, Hobdon, okay, Walk the Sea from Kerosene is on my list. That one looks interesting. I have not tried that one. At least I don't remember if I had. I don't think I have. And Walk the Sea. We'll have to see if that one's a winner. We'll have to see if that one's any good. I've been getting 30 mil and 50 mil bottles, unless the 100 mil is only about $3 to $5 more. Exactly. Sometimes with niche, sometimes they are a big difference. They really do, make the 100 mils more expensive, and it's more understandable. But if it's more of a designer fragrance or more of an affordable fragrance, the bigger size, even if it's a 200 mil, sometimes it's tempting, even though you and me probably really, really don't need it. For example, Azara Wanted by Night, when that fragrance wasn't really being highly spoken of, and people for some, it's Azara still kind of had a bad reputation. I saw those for $35 for 200 mils. I almost bought it. I should have maybe. Maybe I could just send decants to everybody of it just to see what they think of it. But I don't need that much juice, especially of that one. But it's when it's only 10, 20, $30 more to double your juice with a design. If it's a designer fragrance, I usually suggest it. If it's more expensive, like a niche fragrance, especially if it's more creative, and you're not gonna wear it too often anymore. Anyways, you're not gonna wear it too often. Why not get the smaller size? Why not get the 30 or the 50 mil? Unless you know that you're gonna wear it all the time and you're absolutely crazy about that scent. So there's something romantic about just having a couple signature scents. Thoughts? We're all different fragrance people. I could understand that. It definitely is more simple. It's definitely easier to go with. That's one reason that I want to have my collection 80 fragrances or less, maybe even 100 or at least 100 fragrances or less. You know, some people are collectors. Some people like to have the ownership. Some people, it's wonderful for their fragrance channel to be able to pull out an amazing list, like show, the best of all the Mugler fragrances or all the Dior or all the Chanels, and they can give you like a top 10 list of just about any fragrance company that's around, especially if it's designer. But I personally like to have things around that I really like, and financial wise, I like to maximize my money and use it wisely. And but we're all different people. I could see why signature scents are a thing. For me, even with my 80 fragrances, I probably, unless it's something that I'm truly, truly in love with, I probably would, always look for something new and explore something new and interesting. And my fragrance collection is always going to change over time. That's something that I'm truly about. Always, having something different. I do like decants. I do like trying new things and new oils. I like having lots of varieties, so I do dive into the decants. I can see why some people like signature scents, and it's easygoing. People can recognize you by a smell. You make a great impression. If it really works with your personality, that's nice. But I don't know. For me personally, I've never been a signature scent kind of person. I know that some people are, and nothing's wrong with that. But I like having the versatility for different situations and different seasons and all kinds of different things and different emotions. But more power to the people who just want to have a couple cents. 1 cent, 5 cents. More power to them because it makes life a lot easier. And that's one thing I've always said: wear what you love, but also I guess buy. Have the kind of collection that really suits your needs. I think that some people in the fragrance community feel like they have to keep up with the Joneses. That if they don't have 100 fragrances, they don't have a decent collection, or maybe they feel like if you don't have any niche, then you don't have a good collection, or if you don't have a lot of niche, or something like that. But this is all our personal journey. It's supposed to be a joy. So do things at your own pace. If you have a bug to buy tons of decants, do that. Do what works for you. If you have a bug to buy a bunch of samples, if every fragrance you want to buy is the full size bottle, do it. But I think that's one of the things that maybe we get distracted from in the fragrance community is having our own personal enjoyment. But I guess that comes with any community because we're all influencing each other one way or another, I guess. So yeah, it's I could see that, and would make things a lot easier. But I respect that, Dean. If you want to have a couple cents, I respect you for that. Have you tried Azaro Pour Homme Ginger Lover? It seems to be getting hyped. I have heard that it has a very mass appealing style of DNA. It's very likable. I actually tried to buy it. I won't say who it is because they said that they were going to, when it came back in stock, that they were going to charge my card and send it to me and essentially give me free shipping on that one because when I bought it, it was out of stock. I mean, I bought it and they messaged me and they had to remove it from my purchase. And I don't know if it's because I'm a fragrance reviewer. Some people say influencer. But they did end up making, I don't know if it was a mistake or not, but they sent me that Amber Fever instead. And I was very grateful for that. And of course, I'd been wanting that fragrance. So I don't know. I guess I lucked out. I got a fragrance that was a lot more expensive. Companies do make mistakes all the time, but I don't know. Maybe I should get that one. Maybe I should get that Azaro Ginger Lover. I've been tempted to get the Intense, which is supposedly a big cinnamon bomb and pretty boozy. I don't think I have an Azaro in my collection. I think I need to have one. I've There's been a couple times where I've been tempted. I'll probably either get that one, the Ginger Lover, or the Azaro Pour Homme Intense. Two very different fragrances, but I had my eye on them. Had my eye on them. Sup, Banjo? Listening while eating. What you got for dinner over there? How's life? How are things going? Wayne Morris, happy to see you again. Long time no see. Jose Santo, hello, Jose, here from New Jersey. Can you tell me something from about this cologne? Oh, Zaharoff signature, absolutely. And y'all can chime in too. This is a discussion. If you've tried it, Wayne or anybody, share your thoughts. I think that it's a great fragrance. George is a fantastic guy. He's really uplifting. I think that he definitely encourages in kind of like a beam of light to a lot of people, and that's a great thing. His fragrance is really good. I do feel like it's a little bit lavender and soapy. I'm not criticizing it, but I do like to let people know because some people don't like lavender and some people don't like soapy fragrances. But it's more of like a lavender, soapy, slightly dark fragrance. The oud is not scary in the fragrance at all. But it does come off a little bit dry. And if you're expecting a uber sweet like Tonka fragrance or a fragrance that has that modern sweet kind of quality underneath it, it doesn't have that. It comes off a little bit more 90s vibe, like a little bit, where it comes off a little bit more masculine and confident. And I still think that's one of the best office fragrances, one of the best professional fragrances. And if you're like a CEO, that's definitely like a boss man kind of fragrance. So I do respect that fragrance. If y'all are curious why I don't show my bottle, or if you haven't seen my bottle, my dad has it. I ended up gifting it to him for Christmas. I did not sell it. I could get it out and visit my dad and show it again if y'all want me to sometime. But it's a fine fragrance. He didn't have an oud in his collection, and it was really the first oud that he said he kind of even liked. So that says something. It might be the first oud fragrance that you might ever like, or maybe you're looking for a gift for your dad or your grandpa, and you want him to have something more interesting, but you don't think he'll ever like oud, or it could be the one. It could be the one. So I'm not affiliated with the guy. I'm not a part of his sales team. I don't have one of those posters of his, and I don't have links in every video or anything like that. So please don't get that interpretation, or impression, sorry. But I do respect the guy. Wayne Morris says Explorer. Exactly, that's the one. Mont Blanc Explorer is that Aventus fragrance that I was thinking of. That if you're just looking to have something that just smells good and you don't want to spend a lot of money, instead of a clone, I'd probably suggest you check that one out instead of a clone. Unless you see something that really, really looks good, I would probably just go with that one. Especially if it's your first Aventus fragrance, if you've never had anything that smell, or maybe you've never tried Aventus. I don't know. It would be a good place to start, unless you have experience and if you've smelled the real deal before. I don't know. I would almost go for the real thing or Hoctavot. Hoctavot's a good one. Let's see here. Mont Blanc Explorer is a tremendous value. There's no getting around it. Exactly. It's for the value, for the money. Mont Blanc Explorer, even though it's a clone, essentially a lot of people dislike it for that. It kind of was I guess it's creative theft to some people. There's no doubt Mont Blanc Explorer is a standout fragrance for the value, for the money. It's really hard to beat for what it is. You could go for like a Pineapple Vintage Intense, but some people don't like the patchouli vibe in some of the fragrances. Some people think that the ambergris or that patchouli sometimes smells like musty and musky, like old clothes and stuff like that. So But some people really like the new adaptations that add vanilla, like a vanilla kind of base to that Aventus kind of smell, to Aventus DNA. So that might be your thing. It might not be. So Kitty, how do you say that? Carinia or Karina. Happy to see you. I love your lives. You remind me of Doug from Kings and Queens. I'll have to check that out and remind myself about Doug. But I'll take that as a compliment. Thanks, Kitty. It's good to see you. I am down to earth. I am a friendly kind of guy, and I hope that comes across. I am a little bit of a stoic, and when I have an opinion, I try again. I focus on fragrance here, but I've joked and I've made jokes and I've said some things. Maybe that rubbed people the wrong way, but I do like to help people come together. I am an INFJ personality. I do care about everybody, so thanks for that. Uh, Ultra Supra says I actually enjoy Ambroxan in it. Very pleasant. Yeah, a lot of people seem to really dislike Ambroxan. I can understand Calone. Calone and some aquatics have rubbed me the wrong way. But a lot of the time, Ambroxan is great. There's very few times where I've smelled Ambroxan and fragrances where it's actually rubbed me the wrong way. And Sauvage EDT is definitely one of those, where the Ambroxan really rubs me the wrong way. A lot of the time, I really like Ambroxan. It's one of those things that really is pleasant that a lot of people just don't think about. Kind of like sandalwood in fragrances. It's kind of like an unsung hero. It does a great job. It always works. It adds to the longevity. It adds some personality. And it's really there, adding some beauty to the dry down. So, Abraham Johnson says, what's new in the collection, or what's on your pickup list? That kerosene blackmail for certain. For this fall and the winter, I'm definitely going to be trying to get Black Hashish by Art Olfacto. I've been tempted to get Mansara's Crazy for Oud. And sorry about the noise if y'all can hear that. That is the song, the night song of the cicadas or cicadas, how you say it. And they're very, very loud. So it's sometimes hard to hear y'all. I know that y'all aren't speaking, but hear myself almost, with my thoughts speak to y'all. It's hard to even hear my own thoughts. So, anyways, what's new in the collection? I'm going to show y'all some hauls soon, but I've slowed down a little bit. One of them was Amans by Vicanto. I'm going to end up selling that one, though. I'm curious to see if y'all even want a review of that one. It's from a house that, some fragrance reviewers have covered. A lot of their fragrances in pretty good detail, done a pretty darn good job of it. And I don't know if y'all want to see like an odd niche house with an odd fragrance that almost nobody knows about. And it's also going to be a fairly negative review. Even though I do like the house, I respect the people at Tinziad Terenzi. Amans was just not what I wanted it to be. But maybe somebody out there will love it. It has a citronella vibe that almost reminds me of Abercrombie and Finch's Fierce in a little bit of a way. And I wasn't expecting that, and I didn't really want that from a Mediterranean, Italian citrus scent. So, I don't know. What can I say? So, let's see here. I only like Versace Pour Homme. Is that your only scent you like? The only one? I do think it's a great fragrance. I've heard some people say that it's generic. I've heard some people putting down on Versace. I think that a lot of the scents from Versace, especially on the great discounted market, are, great, mass appealing, easy to wear fragrances. I think that Versace Pour Homme is essentially the Swiss Army knife of the fragrance world, especially for the men out there. It's a fragrance that's always there. It always works. It's always dependable. It smells good. It can be worn by young and older men alike. It can be dressed down. It can be dressed up a little bit. It's Versace Pour Homme never fails. It never fails me, at least. And I've never seen anybody dislike it. It's one of those kinds of scents. And the performance for an aquatic is a little bit on the better side of things. So all around, Versace Pour Homme, if you can get it for a good price, I mean, it's good stuff. Do you enjoy Stronger With You? Which version do you prefer? The OG, the Intensely, or the Freeze? Honestly, I haven't tried them. I really want to. I'm tempted by the freeze. It sounds fun, but I have suspicions that the freeze might be a little bit. I would think that it's a little bit too metro or something that I might prefer on a lady, not rugged enough. Or, but it does look like a very fun fragrance and very likable. The original, I'm not sure. This is only speculation, but I don't know. The intensely looks like it might be too sweet, but I often like the intense versions being richer and deeper. I'm not really sure, but I'm just hoping it's not too sweet. I've been tempted to blind buy those a number of times. I've almost blind bought them, but I don't know why I haven't. But I just haven't ended up blind buying any of those yet. Those aren't at my local mall. At least before this Rona thing that started happening, those weren't at my local mall, and I don't know if they're ever going to come to my local mall. So I don't know when I'll try them. Maybe I should just sucker up and buy some samples, but hey, Jesus is in the house. Jesus Christ. Are you gonna bless my live? Hey, how you doing? People are crazy out there making a fake profile. My goodness, Jesus Christ. I am I also love when men wear Axe. Really? Axe? Axe, I mean, that stuff isn't bad. I mean, but I don't know. To each their own. Wear what you love. Know I say it. Even if it's Axe, like it. But I definitely would encourage men to maybe go for something. I don't know. When they're ready, definitely try and get something a little bit more special, especially for fancy occasions or weddings or something like that. I do know that lots of people like the Dark Temptation. It smells like chocolate, and it's a big top seller. So that's nice. I heard Freeze is good for summer. Yeah, I've heard that too. I've heard that Freeze is a little bit more versatile, a little bit more wearable, maybe a little bit better for, anybody. I mean, the fragrances aren't polarizing anyways, but Freeze is a little bit more mass appealing of the bunch. So I'm tempted to try them all. So once you hit the 100 bottle mark, what are your plans as far as reviewing frags go? Well, I've talked about it a little while, and I don't know how y'all feel about it. But again, I'm about to start my soap company, and I do want to actually start a fragrance company. Again, I'm not sure if I want to start an tar company at first. I don't really want to mess with alcohol at all, but I do want to have my own niche fragrance company as well in the future. So I'm not sure which one of the ones of those I should do first. I have some other ideas for other companies. I do like fragrance reviewing. I do find this very fun and enjoyable. I love connecting with y'all as friends. But I don't know if I want to do this forever unless, I don't know, unless I was able to somehow become a bigger YouTuber and I had more things involved. Like, if I had enough money to buy samples or blind buy all the designer fragrances, like some of these guys are able to do, they can put something essentially on pre-order, or they have connections and they can just, with their with their YouTube money, just buy all these designer fragrances. For me personally, with my financial situation, I really have decided, and I've really come to the point of just buying and showing y'all what I've been trying, what I've been searching. I used to try to blind buy some designer fragrances and follow maybe some trends and give you all my opinions kind of quickly on some of the really big designer fragrance releases. But for right now, it's not something I'm crazy about doing. Again, designer fragrances are good and all, and there's some amazing affordable cheapy fragrances, and I've tried to highlight some of those, but always keeping up with the new designer fragrances. I've already kind of settled on my collection. I've already settled and kind of gotten to the point where I don't need a lot. It's fun to try new things, and I always will. Are things that I come across from time to time that I want, but I don't know. We're all different. Some people might feel satisfied with 5 fragrances. Some people might stop and be satisfied with having 20. I've gotten to the point for about 80 to 100 fragrances where I'm very, very satisfied with the fragrances that I've been able to find and own in my collection. So I guess I'll just review things more on samples. I think you'll understand that I can test a fragrance enough and understand a fragrance enough to review it from a sample. But again, if I don't know when I'll have that kind of success that I want, but once I get to that point, if I am able to have more of a lifestyle that I actually want, I don't know if I'll want to actually review fragrances this consistently, like on a daily basis or 2 reviews a day, like I'm doing. I don't know if y'all have seen, but I've been putting out actually 2 videos a day for a little while, and I've been putting out a video, every day for almost a year. Been extremely consistent. That takes a lot of time, and most people don't put that kind of work into something unless they're just extremely passionate and don't care about the results. I mean, there's big YouTubers who only put out a video like every week and a half or 2 weeks. Uh, you know, I'm putting out a video every day, so I don't know. I know that it's selfish to think that way, what I'm suggesting, but I would like to see either more success, or I would like to put my effort and time into something that's benefiting me a little bit more. I do have fun. This is very fun to chat with y'all and talk with y'all. But if I was able to have the lifestyle I would like to travel. I would like to meet all kinds of people. I would like to learn a new language. If I was managing businesses and doing all these things that I'd like to do, be on flights, would I have time, or would I want to spend the little time I have reviewing fragrances all the time? I'm not sure if I would want to do that. I would just highlight and give y'all a fragrance review every once in a while of something that I actually really, really love and that I thought was really special, instead of trying to review and find really weird fragrances or undiscovered fragrances, or reviewing everything out there in the world. So, essentially creating a catalog for y'all so y'all can, have a little bit more, I guess, have another voice, and somebody explaining all the fragrances out there in the world. I would like to review everything out there in the world. It would be fun, but I don't know. Maybe I'll get to that point. I am getting to the point where I've tried and reviewed an awful lot of things on my. I actually noticed today. I don't know if it's including my privated videos or not, but I have over 550 videos, and I've actually deleted quite a few. Again, there was one of those indie companies that kind of gave me some attitude and treated me a little bit wrong, and I was going to review some of their fragrances that were kind of odd that almost nobody knows about, and I didn't love those ones that much anyways, and they're a little bit more expensive. So and those and some other videos I thought weren't great quality. I ended up deleting some, but and in less than 2 years, guys, or about 2 years or so, had about 2 years, I put out 550 videos. And that's quite a lot of work for a YouTuber. That's incredible work. And I know that some people have put out, have done similar work, but that's an awful lot of work, especially if you're actually putting out thumbnails, if you're actually, doing any editing, and doing tags and whatnot. That's an incredible amount of work. And I don't know how y'all feel about that, but it's a good experience. I felt like, and I don't want to sound like I'm bad. It sounds like I'm divorcing y'all. I'm not, and I'm not gonna leave. But I don't know. I've gotten to the point where I'm almost like satisfied with what I've done as a fragrance YouTuber. It's like I've done my work, I've done my part, and I almost want to move on to bigger and better things. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. I'd love to know what y'all want to think. So we'll see how long I'll be on here for. We'll see how long I'll be actually fragrance reviewing for. And we'll see how long I keep doing this. If I have, more important things, and I don't have a lady, I don't have a family. If I had a family and a lady, and actually if I was trying to run a business, if I actually had a successful business, I don't know if I would have time for this. I don't know if I would. So let me know what y'all think about that. Let me know what y'all think. But I just got a sample of Stronger With You Freeze, and I'm about to find out. Let me know if it's any good. Let me know. Try it, Ultra Super. Get back to me. Let me know. Sorry about the dog, and sorry about the cicadias again. Scent-wise, Sauvage Parfum, the best for me. EDT is the best performer. You're right. The EDT, for some reason, with all of that ambergris and the dry down, really, really lasts an awful long time. I like the EDP the best. I like the EDP better than the Parfum or the EDT, but we all have our preferences. Um, if I was to suggest any of the blue fragrances, I would either suggest Bleu de Chanel EDP or I would suggest the Dylan Blue from Versace. And I actually would like to see Versace come out with a flanker to Dylan Blue. I don't know if it's successful enough to do that, but I would like to see a Parfum version or a noir version, or maybe even a summer version, an Eau Fraiche maybe of Dylan Blue. I think at least I think it sells pretty well, and I think it's one of the best blue fragrances out there for the money. But of course, we all have very different opinions. Some people are very passionate about the blue fragrances. So, Parfum is richer and creamy. Yeah, you're right. It is richer and creamier. I feel like it's a little bit sweeter. It's a little bit linear to me though. I kind of like the balance with the EDP, but the Parfum is nice, especially if you want to layer it with other fragrances. I think that the Sauvage EDP is very layerable with other fragrances too. So I just ordered Sauvage EDP Decant 10 mil. Well, you have to let me know what you think about it. You'll have to let me know if you like it. Anyone got some Serge Lutens recommendations? You came to the right place. I think that Santal Majusculin is amazing. If you're looking for a date fragrance, if you're not afraid of rose, Santal, Santal Majusculin from Serge Lutens is amazing. It's one of the best fragrances out there. And Cherokee is also very great. It's amazing. I think 5 o'clock Gingembre does give a little bit of a more of a mature vibe to it, but it's a little bit of like a aged, almost like a vintage ginger tea fragrance, and it's very well done. It's a great one. It doesn't get enough talk for what it is. So Serge Lutens has some real winners. I haven't tried a lot of their higher end exclusive ones or the ones that are more expensive. I know that Juxtapoz is really creative, and that's been on my buy list for a long time. Blind buy list. I need to blind buy it. Supposedly that one smells like bread in a bakery. It sounds really, really nice. I like that hay smell, and I like that bakery smell in fragrances, so that one looks really nice. So Serge Lutens has some good stuff. They have a Dame Blonde or Blonde, something like that. And that one, if you like something more aldehydic, I think it's suggested for ladies. I would kind of suggest it for ladies, but it's unisex. If you like, some of that, again, yellow aldehyde kind of stuff, you might like that one. So let's see. I already have the EDT 10 mil. Yeah, it's and decants are a good way to go if you're not overpaying for them. You can have a lot of variety of a lot of different things without having the bottle. Decants are a good way to go for sure. I try not to buy anything more than 50 mil because with about 300 frags in my collection, I'll never get through a full bottle. Exactly. And we're all different. Some people are collectors. I respect that. I'm a little bit more practical minded. I don't want to have a room full of fragrances. I don't want to have to surround myself with fragrances all the time. Fragrance is something I very much care about, but I also have lots of other hobbies and lots of other passions. I like lots of different things. And some people might think I'm obsessive with fragrances, and I do think a lot about fragrances, especially with all the YouTube stuff that I do. But I don't know. I don't want to dedicate my entire house to fragrances and all of the worry I have to do with like protecting them and everything else. So EDP is in the middle between EDT and Parfum, and I enjoy it. Exactly. It's EDT, then the EDP, and then the Parfum. And I like the balance, and I like how the notes come across in the EDP the best of Sauvage, but still I'm not crazy about it. And again, you're not usually able to find those Diors at a very good discount or very cheap. So I don't know. For the price for what you're paying for those, Sauvage just kind of upped their prices. In my opinion, the Bleu de Chanel's smell of higher quality. I don't know. I'd rather go for the Blue de Chanel EDP, but of course, I respect. So, anyways, I heard the Parfum sucks in performance. It's not bad in the performance. I almost want to call you Jesus, so people don't think I'm sacrilegious or something. So I don't disrespect the Christians, but Jesus, Jesus. Um, I heard that the Parfum isn't bad in performance. It actually has pretty solid performance. It just doesn't last as long as the EDT, even though it's a Parfum. The EDP will definitely get you through a workday. It'll still give you 8, 9, 10 hours. But on some people, the EDT, especially with how much they spray, they can get 8, 9, 10, even 12 hours plus. But I think the biggest complaint is because the EDT has great projection, especially in the beginning. It's the Sauvage is a powerhouse it projects a lot, and the Parfum is a lot more of a subtle fragrance. It's not a beast mode fragrance, and I think that's where the big complaint comes from, and that's why they say the performance isn't good. Um, the the So again, the EDP doesn't project. It has pretty good longevity. It just doesn't project. And the Sauvage EDT projects an awful lot, and it lasts pretty darn well with all that ambergris. So hopefully that makes sense. I haven't done a comparison video. I haven't done a head-to-head battle, but I think that's something that needs to be cleared up a little bit. So let's see here. eBay doesn't have a lot of Sauvage Parfum decants. Yeah, it's not overtly popular. Usually decanters are trying to decant things that they know that they can make a quick turnaround from. They don't have to have a lot of inventory of things that are usually they don't want to have to sit on things. But anyways, yeah. And it has very good longevity. Yep, I'll have to try. I personally love it. I like Sauvage more than the Bleu de Chanel. More power to you. Some people do prefer that the Sauvage, over the Bleu de Chanel. More power to you. There's certainly a lot of options for you. There is the Prada Luna Rossa Carbon. I'm sure that y'all know of that one. And there's a number of clones, of course, and adaptations out there as well. Chanel. Serge Lutens 5 o'clock Gingembre is really good. Baptême de Feu is great, but I recommend you try it first. It's not for everyone. I haven't tried that one. I really don't know anything about that one. Serge Lutens is another house like Montal. I think Montal confuses people with the names. I think Serge Lutens is just underrated, a little bit like Les Artisans. But Serge Lutens actually has quite a few releases, and the names are usually in French, so they scare away English buyers. Sometimes they're not easy to get. They're not terribly cheap either. They're not terribly expensive, but they're not cheap, or I guess you wouldn't call them cheapies. And some of them are more vintage leaning. Some of them are a little bit more creative. Some of them are great, and some of them, I don't know, they're kind of weird. So they're kind of like a mixed bag. They got a little bit of everything. So they're like every flavored gummy beans from Harry Potter. You could have something great. You could have something not so good. So I would definitely watch reviews, and I wouldn't blind buy into Serge Lutens unless you look into Cherokee, Santal Majushkalin. Probably those two are the most mass appealing out of the bunch, or maybe 5 o'clock Gingembre. If you look at the notes, you know what you're getting into, and you like that kind of stuff. So that's just my opinion. If anybody else knows a more easy to love or easy to wear, likable Serge Lutens, please let us know. Let's see here. Anyone think the same? I actually enjoy both because they serve different purposes. Oh yeah, definitely. I could see that. I think the Bleu de Chanel comes off a little bit classier. If you're still thinking, if we're still talking about Bleu de Chanel. What about Ambre Sultan? I have tried Ambre Sultan. I think I might have put out a review. I forget if I have or not. But Ambre Sultan is a great fragrance. It smells a little bit like Fahrenheit. I would put it in that family. It's not the same as Fahrenheit. Don't get me wrong. It's not a clone. It does its own thing. But I would put it in that same family as Gucci Guilty Absolute, Dior Fahrenheit, Ambre Sultan, and Costume National Soul. Very masculine fragrance, very bold. Great fragrance. I think it has a little bit of this like almost nutty, woody kind of amber to the fragrance with the violet kind of vibe. Not as petrol heavy as Dior Fahrenheit at all, but it definitely gives off a little bit of a similar vibe, at least in the opening. But then it dries down to a really charming woody amber kind of fragrance. Great fragrance, Ambre Sultan. I usually don't mention it too much, but because it's very masculine leaning, and some people don't like you talking or mentioning masculine scents in your opinion. Of course, everybody can wear anything, but I do feel like there's certain fragrances that are perhaps better or perhaps suit somebody who feels or wants to identify as somebody more traditionally masculine. And Ambre Sultan certainly is one of those. If you were to give that to a teenager, somebody who's in high school, I do not think that they would like Ambre Sultan. But if you're a gentleman and you like maybe a little bit more of a rugged amber, and you like violet, and it's quite a good fragrance. It's really good stuff. So Jesus says, yeah, Serge Lutens Santal Magie Chagrin is stunning. Exactly. I actually have a bottle. I forget if I've ever showed it on camera, but I have that scent, and I've described it as one of the best date night scents that's out there. Santal Magie Chagrin, highly underrated. One of the best date night scents out there for the money, hands down. Amazing stuff, and it can do magic for you. It has a rose to it, and it adds a little bit of that refined floral smooth quality, almost similarly in a composition wise that the lavender does in La Nuit de l'Homme. But instead of the cardamom, you get this dry, slightly bitter chocolate cacao, and the dry down is with some sandalwood that's like more of a dry, slightly dry, but yet it still has some smoothness to it. It doesn't come off as particularly creamy, but really nice, a particular type of sandalwood. If you pay attention to the dry down, really good stuff. Anyways, Jesus Christ, lol, what a handle! Hallelujah! Praise the Lord. Yes, we got Jesus Christ in the house. Eric says, I look at all those. Thank you. Yeah, definitely check them out. Serge Lutens is a good house to try, but I definitely would sample again before you buy. Know what you're getting into. Some of them are a mixed bag. Some of them are odd. Some of them are weird. So definitely be careful. Let's see. Yes, Ambre Sultan and Chergui. Most people know about those. I'm trying to suggest lesser knowns. Okay, I see. I see what you're doing, Wayne. I see what you got going on. What's your overall thoughts on Bois de Jour? Bois de Jour is fantastic. I can see why there's the hype. I still need to get my review out on that fragrance. Fantastic release, guys. To me, it almost smells like a blend of Eau Sauvage and Magia from Boisé 1920. It smells exactly like that, and if you've smelled both of those fragrances, you'll know what I'm talking about. Magia from Boisé 1920 is more of a somewhat similar to Silver Mountain Water by Creed, but it doesn't have the inkiness, it doesn't have the blackberry fruit, and it has this very, very nice full body to it, but yet it's still delicate, and it's sensible, and it's very, very youthful and mass appealing. It's quite a nice fragrance. If you wanted to like Silver Mountain Water, but you thought it was too aggressive or too sharp, too metallic, too inky, you didn't like the black fruit, that blackberry kind of vibe, or anything like that, that one is a great one to go get into. But not a lot of people know about it, not a lot of people talk about it, and it doesn't have the best performance. Anyways, that kind of vibe, that really soothing, like a well-rounded, more of like a delicate Silver Mountain Water kind of vibe, with a really good presence, added to like almost like Eau Sauvage. That's more of like almost like a citrus aromatic with a little bit of oak moss and a really sparkly vetiver and some rosemary herbaceousness. Bois de Jour, I can see why there's hype behind it. It's great. I do feel like it's a fusion of things. I do feel like maybe they're using some of the same ingredients from Grey Vetiver. It's not the same fragrance. It's a great creation on its own, but I do feel like it's good. But if you're a stickler for creativity, I could see why some people might not feel like it's uber creative, but it's a solid wearable fragrance. And for gentlemen, and even a guy in their 20s, I think that they could pull it off. But again, just like Eau Sauvage, I do feel like maybe the 30 plus guys would like Bois de Jour more. Good fragrance. I don't know. I do think that you have to like things like Eau Sauvage. It's getting dark out here. My power is getting low, guys. I need to wrap this up. But thank y'all. I'm not gonna just jump off this immediately, but thank y'all so much for making this a great conversation and a great night. It's been pretty fun, my friends. I have like 5% power though. There are so many Serge Lutens to love. Good luck, my friend. Yes, explore that house. Really good house. Happy to help you. Jose Santo, thank you for your advice. It's easy, and try them all too. Exactly. If you have a boutique around you, even with what's going around now, you can smell a lot of fragrances. If you're lucky enough to live in a bigger city, you don't have to pay for all of these decants and samples unless you want to. I don't have that luxury. I don't have any boutiques around me. So I got 4% power, guys. I just got a notification. I got to wrap this up super fast. What's about imaginary authors? Imaginary authors, most of their fragrances haven't worked for me so far. I like Oh Unknown, but it's more of a musk fragrance. I know it's not for everybody. Some people have said it's terribly boring, but it's a very good full-bodied musk and almost sandalwood feeling fragrance. I forget if they're sandalwood. Some people like Every Storm a Serenade. I'm not crazy about it. I like Whispers of a Trespasser, I believe it is. No, Whispered Mists and Memoirs of a Trespasser. Those I feel like are the most interesting. And I keep messing up the name, but there's one that has a strawberry note. I think it's Saint Julep, if I remember right. And that one's probably the most mass appealing. And then it has this really nice, sparkly kind of quality. And it's actually can convert people to green fragrances. It actually has a really nice, interesting green quality in the dry down. Duncan, how's it going, bro? Going well. Dog walking. Oh, have a fantastic time with the dog. That's always a good time. I love Slow Explosions. Cape Heartache. Bull's Blood, I do not like. Bull's Blood is the most niche-like, the most interesting, and perhaps the most strange out of the bunch. It doesn't disgust me, and I have smelled it. I will be reviewing it, but it's not bad, but I don't think it's very wearable or likable to most people. Getting ready for Hillary's. Is she going live tonight? Absolutely, I'll try to catch that. And Hillary's a great lady, and she's a fragrance reviewer, if y'all don't know as well. Yeah, I broke the bull's blood sample in the kitchen. Yeah, you'll have in your kitchen smelling like blood for a while. I have like 3% power, guys, so good luck getting rid of that stench. Yeah, love Zaharoff signature. Waiting for the Royal. I want the Noir, the Zaharoff Noir. I would really like to try it. Perrier's Daylight.